delicious scallion pancake beef rolls. Braised beef shank, 卤牛肉 in Chinese, is a very popular dish. You use it in a lot of cold cut platters, you can eat it as a snack, you can put it in some buns, and today we're going to put it in scallion pancake wraps.
Not only are we going to put it in scallion pancakes, we are going to sous vide this beef shank.
If you're new to kind of cooking, we do sous vide recipes and a lot of other things as well, so make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell.
So we're going to sous vide this because I'm looking for a specific texture. I want the meat to be tender, and there's a tendon that runs through the shank, and I want that to be nice and gelatinous. For a lot of Chinese dishes, or Asian dishes in general, texture and different textures is very important.
Another thing I want to mention is that for the beef shank, a lot of times I've eaten it, it's a very dry.
Yeah.
So that's why I think this time doing the sous vide, we can not worry about the cook.
Exactly.
Just let it do its thing, and you can do a bunch of them at the same time, put it in the fridge and slice it up whenever you want to eat it.
So to begin, we've already done it for this one. If there's any extra fat or really obvious silver skin, you want to cut that off. Those are hard to eat later. But in general, this one is pretty clean. We're pretty good. It's going to be real easy. We're going to put this into our vacuum bag because we're cooking it for 24 hours. We want to make sure that the bags don't break. So in along goes with some ginger. And the next thing we want to do is fill our spices.
So we have these spice bags that we found at the Chinese supermarket. If you can't find these, you can wrap it in a cheesecloth.
Yep.
Just tie a knot on it. So these are very handy because all the spices are very small. We don't want them to be all of our liquid.
This bag, along with some of the other equipment we use, will be in the description below. So just take a look.
We have some black peppercorn, Sichuan peppercorn, fennel seeds, dried chili, 1 bay leaf, and 1 star anise.
Once all that goes in, you want to tighten the bag and make sure you tie it tightly around so that it doesn't break and you won't have this to pick this all off your meat.
Now we have the liquid ingredients.
Yep, I'm going to turn on the stove here.
We're just cooking down the rice wine because in the sous vide it doesn't cook down wine very well.
So once this starts to bubble,
this is regular soy sauce or light soy sauce.
we'll let it come back to a boil.
Smells good. Next, we have our final ingredient, which is Sichuan doubanjiang. This looks a little murky, but it's just the same sauce. We have 150 milliliters of water.
So we're going to now sous vide this, or sous vide braise it for 24 hours at 167 degrees Fahrenheit or 75 degrees Celsius. And we'll see you tomorrow. Wearing the same clothes. Or maybe I have one ready now. Carmen hasn't seen our beef shank yet. So after I finished sous videing for 24 hours, I took it out. I strained out all of the liquids.
You can keep that liquid actually for future marinades.
Exactly, you can do it again. You can use the same liquid. So what started out from here is now here.
What?
It's like a man going into water, cold water.
But it's got fatter.
So yep, it's been in the fridge overnight. If you don't put it in the fridge overnight and you try and slice it, it's going to be real difficult for you. So just be patient. What's another 12 hours after 24? You know, just wait. You don't need to go another 12 hours, but at least 4. I wrapped it in this, trying to keep its shape so it doesn't fall apart because it's so tender. And here she is, this beauty. Make sure you have a very sharp knife. That is the key to making these thin slices, a very sharp knife.
You guys can see, but this tendon is basically see-through, and that's really cool. A lot of times these are used as an appetizer of cold meat platter or something like that, so you don't have to eat it with the wrap.
With the hot sauce, a little bit of vinegar, some sugar,
some cilantro, some
garlic.
peanuts.
That's actually my favorite appetizer. The flavor is good. You can taste the stock.
The texture of this is
Pretty good.
Scallion pancakes. So usually for the beef wrap roll, they use a more plain cake. It's not cake, but in Chinese they call it cake. It's called lao bing. So it's more of like an oil thin wrap. But today we're doing it in scallion pancake, and we're trying to make it as flaky and thin as possible so we can wrap our beef with it.
So we're gonna start with flour, the plain all-purpose flour, and we're just gonna add water to it.
This is 70-degree water, 70 degrees Celsius water.
How do you get 70 degrees Celsius water?
So according to Chinese recipes, when you make 70 degrees Celsius water, you boil it with the pan, and then when you see some bubbles forming on the bottom, that's 70 degrees Celsius.
Exactly 70 degrees
yes,
Celsius.
Yes, that's exactly that. Usually Chinese recipes are, this level of precision.
Yep, so let's put in our exactly 70 degree water and make a little well.
Oh, and we're using our chopsticks to do this.
So next step is just to make sure everything is incorporating. You're gonna knead a little bit in the bowl until all of it comes together, which eventually it will. It might feel a little crumbly, a little wet, but just keep going. So we're gonna knead until it comes together nice and smooth. All right, so after about 7 minutes, you have a very nice dough ball and very tired arms. Let's put the oil inside the bowl. Okay, good. And then you just make sure to lightly oil it all around. We're going to cover it up.
Yep.
And let it rest for 30 minutes.
Now, what's scallion pancakes without scallions?
Just pancakes.
Yeah. All right. So we're separating into two parts.
Yep.
The green part is going to be going inside the actual pancake, and the white part will be part of the wrap.
So you want them as fine as you can get them, okay?
Are you sad, Kevin?
These are really strong.
Good. It'll be tasty.
The scallion are making me cry. The scallion whites are cut in
Lengthwise.
Yes, see? That's why you're very helpful.
Yes, I just stand around correcting you.
It's a big job. Okay, half. And then this way. And then you make little nice juliennes. Okay. So you get nice little strips here, and these will go into the pancake afterwards. Right after you finish cutting them, put them straight into cold water. Otherwise they'll shrivel up and you'll have disgusting scallions for your meal.
And now is the most important part of the scallion pancake. This is what will make it...
You just said the scallions were the most important part.
That's true. That's also important.
This is the second most important part.
Okay,
now.
but this is important for the texture.
Yes.
This is how all the flaky goodness is gonna happen. And in Chinese, this is called 油酥. Not sure what it's called in English. Kind of like flaky oil.
It's like when you make a croissant, you're gonna roll in like a sheet of butter and a sheet of flour, and then you fold it, and then you roll in a sheet of flour and a sheet of butter. It's the same concept. We're going to warm the oil. We need to warm it until it's 70 degrees.
No.
I'm just kidding.
Hot.
Hot oil. We need hot oil, like sizzling hot.
So some flour. Next we put in this 5-spice powder. Then we'll put in some salt. All right, Kevin, whenever the hot oil's ready. Careful, this is really hot.
And you give it a good stir.
Last time I touched it with my hands and it burned my hand, so you need to be really careful with this.
Carmen has delicate fingers, but a really, really steel mouth.
This is hot oil, okay?
She could probably drink that, no problem. Make sure you get all the lumps out.
Oh, it's hot, Kevin. I guess it's not hot for you. All right, this is your 油酥.
So this is what we'll brush on between the layers of the scallion pancake.
Okay, the dough has been well rested.
And now we're going to roll it out. Flour your surface. Okay, get nice and floured. We roll it a little into a nice little log. Maybe I'm gonna make it in 2 logs. We have half of our ball Roll it out just a little bit so it's an even
Oblong.
shape, an even roll, because this is the most important part to get your square
Layers.
your layers, all right? Put a little flour on here, and we take it from the middle and work your way out. Okay, you take it from this middle and work your way out. We're gonna work our way up, and then work our way down. This is about the thickness you want.
1 to 2 millimeters.
What is that, 1/8 of an inch?
I don't know inches. It's very confusing. The next step is to use our flaky oil that we made earlier. I think it's cooled down now, so just mix it up a bit. Then we brush it on.
And the star of the show next, we're gonna put the rest of the scallions on here. Put it nice and evenly all around. We're going to roll it onto itself. And so we start at one side and we roll it onto itself here, okay? Until you have a log. Try and keep it tight. And so I'm going to cut this into 4, half, okay, then half again, and half again. The next step is to take this roll and you're going to just take the outside layers and you're going to connect them to enclose all of the stuffing inside, okay? You can push whatever the layers inside, push them in, pinch them off, close them off. The same on the other side. Take them, put it in, pinch it off, push that in. Okay. Okay, once you have your 4 smaller log, what is this?
What's wrong with mine?
Why is it so short and stumpy?
Because I pushed it already.
So you take your log, put it on the board, with your hands just push it down. Okay, you push it down, you're gonna come up with something like this.
This is how the layers are created.
Okay, let's put this aside. We're gonna roll a couple of them out. We are going to now fry up our rolls. You want to get your pan nice and hot, and once it is hot, you want to hear it sizzle. As soon as you put it in, okay, always drop it away from you and let it go. It will be in there about 2 minutes per side. Take a little peek under. Once it's golden brown, give it a little flip. So once the pancake is ready, what I like to do is I like to give it a little, soften it up a little bit, okay? And that just helps you with making the roll. You're going to get a little hoisin on there. Next, I'm gonna layer up the meats. We're gonna go again across the whole thing. And then we're going to put some scallions. And for a little crunch and more freshness, I'm gonna use cucumber. So you wanna get a really tight roll. You're gonna start at the end. You're gonna go, you're gonna pull it back as tight as you can get. Okay, make sure everything stays inside. And then you're going to continue rolling it up. Okay, once you get here, you're good. And then we're going to cut this. So give it a try.
Cheers.
Cheers. That's good. There's only a little bit of meat, but because it's so aromatic, it's really nice to eat. So the meat is obviously cold because we just sliced it from the fridge, but the warmth of the wrap warms it up just enough so it's nice and soft, and it brings back that tender feeling.
The raw scallions really gives it a nice kick.
So that's it. Thanks for watching.
No, I'm too busy.
He's too busy. All right, that's it. See you guys next time. When you cut the whites, they're cut the opposite direction. Oh, my eyes.